Hello, I'm Clive Barrett. I'm Chair of Trustees at the Peace Museum in Bradford in the UK. I want to talk about the relationship between religion and museums for peace. The presentation is based on a 2018 survey I conducted of museums for peace across 4 continents. The text will be published in 2021 in the Wiley Blackwell Companion to Religion and Peace. What do you think of religion? Do you think of bad, narrow, hateful people of violence, or good, open, loving people of peace? Popular peace symbols, dove, olive branch, and rainbow, have their origin in religious stories. There are similarities between religions at their best and museums for peace. Both hold a community memory, tell stories of the past, seek out truth and peace, and promote the best of human behaviour. Do museums for peace deliberately avoid talking about religion? We tell the Anne Frank story to reveal the brutalities of fascism, Gandhi overcoming colonialism, and Martin Luther King showing the power of non-violence, but these are religious people. What do we miss if we leave out the religion? The first INMP conference in Bradford in 1992 was organised by a Quaker group, the Good Give Peace a Chance Trust. Yet there was almost nothing about religion in any INMP conference until the 8th conference in Korea in 2014, where subjects included Sufism, Yad Vashem, and Kenyan religion. The 9th conference was in Belfast, where recent violence had been fuelled by religious identities. A gable-end mural once the Catholic Church crushed. A handkerchief many conference participants saw in the Museum of Free Derry was waved by a Catholic priest, Father Edmund Daly, during the Bloody Sunday massacre in 1972. We must include religion if we are to understand many wars, many peacemakers. Some museums for peace have explicitly religious foundations. Franz Jägerstätter House, set up by the Catholic parish of St. Radegund in Austria, commemorates a man who refused to fight in Hitler's army. Peace Rooms, Lindau, Austria, was founded by the Catholic peace group Pax Christi. In the US, Wilmington College, Ohio, has a Quaker Heritage Center and a Peace Research Center. And the Swords into Plowshares Gallery, there's another religious symbol, in Detroit, was founded by the Central United Methodist Church. The Friedensbibliothek und Antikriegsmuseum Berlin is the responsibility of the Evangelical Church of Berlin-Brandenburg. Some museums reflect the strong religious nature of their surrounding society. The Centro di Documentazione del Manifesto Pacifista Internazionale near Bologna has one of the largest peace poster collections in the world, including many reflecting the local Catholic culture. It is holding a 2020 exhibition on religion and peace. Tehran Peace Museum notes that religion has been used a lot in our activities. Exhibitions display verses from the Quran chosen to promote peace, tolerance, friendship and respect. Workshops consider Islam and peace. And the museum reports that in general we are not under any pressure to display or discuss a specific interpretation of religion. We usually choose to focus on the role of religion as a medium for peace, because our target group are mostly Iranians, and they are either religious or are from religious backgrounds. So this can help promote peace in our society more successfully. And at the No More Hiroshima, No More Nagasaki Peace Museum in Nagpur, India, Balkrishna Kirvi argues that Hinduism is a way of life, preaching universal brotherhood and sisterhood. The museum organizes Peace Through Religion seminars across India. Some museums for peace have been led by people of religious persuasion without attempt to prioritize religious content or doctrine. The director of the Library of the Peace Palace in The Hague from 1924 to 52, Jacob Termeulen, was also secretary of the International Mennonite Peace Committee. Ralph and Christine Dull, members of the Church of the Brethren, were founders of the Dayton International Peace Museum, At the time of the survey, the Dayton board included a Quaker and 2 Muslims, and around half the volunteers had strong religious convictions. The Give Peace a Chance Trust, with its secretary Gerald Druitt, was the Quaker inspiration behind the Peace Museum Bradford. Positions of responsibility on the board have nearly always been held by Quakers, except for the current chair, myself, an Anglican priest. The INMP survey showed different attitudes towards religion. The Global Art Project for Peace promotes diversity through international art exchange, including both non-religious and religious organizations, and by producing a multicultural calendar aimed partly at increasing understanding of different religions. Dayton International Peace Museum has told stories of local Christian peacemakers. Lonnie Franks reported that our most popular exhibit is Quilting the Golden Rule, 20 large quilts that give a brief history of a number of religions and humanism, and a quotation from various religions that relate to the Golden Rule. Roy Tamashiro reported on working on peace pilgrimages, journeys which could be described in terms of spirituality and healing. The Museo de la Paz de Guernica, with a strong humanist culture, has held a seminar and a publication about the Church and the Spanish Civil War. Ironically, the institution with the clearest policy of not exhibiting religious material is the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum in Geneva, which, despite being named after 2 religious symbols, maintains a commitment to strict neutrality. Even so, the museum has held an exhibition on Gandhi, and the guidebook opened with the sayings of Moses, Confucius, Ashoka, Jesus, and Muhammad. Religion is hard to avoid. There is always the possibility of conflict when museums touch on religious or anti-religious sensitivities. This is probably why most museums avoid the issue. The Global Art Project for Peace had a complaint from a non-religious school which had received art from a religious school with religious symbols, but the point of the exchange was to engage with different worldviews. There have also been issues both for Dayton and Bradford when the museums have touched on issues of Palestine-Israel. In Bradford, one Jewish critic objected to the museum displaying an anti-Gulf War poster which said, "Freedom for Palestine." I have 3 case studies, and the first is Kenya. The Akarino are a religious group in Kenya. Characteristics included opposition to racist colonialists, calling for them to be subject to God's judgment, and telling Christian missionaries that they should reread their Bibles and stop claiming superiority. They also rejected the violent rebellion of the Mau Mau resistance movement. Sultan Somji describes the Akarino culture as one of high integrity and ethics for the preservation of life. The Akarino Peace Museum near Nairobi was set up to preserve and affirm their peace values. Artifacts reflected their peace culture, stories were told of pacifist leaders. The collection included sacred items and religious vestments used during worship, such as turbans, which identified the Akarino people as peacemakers. A priestly robe worn by both men and women is associated with the responsibility to pray for peace. Timothy Kachanga notes that if this Akarino heritage of peace and nonviolence is well articulated, preserved and shared, it may generate significant regional and perhaps global peace ramifications. Alongside this, Somji, who founded the Community Peace Museums and Heritage Foundation, tells of communities using sacred peace trees in ceremonies of reconciliation and in conflict resolution. In preserving the memories of these African peace cultures and rituals, community peace museums uphold conflict transformation in ways that are consistent with traditional and moral values of those communities. My second case study is Japan. The dominant religious traditions are Shintoism and Buddhism, and a syncretism of the two. The Ueno Toshoku Shinto shrine in Tokyo preserves the flame of Hiroshima and Nagasaki as a symbol of longing for a world without nuclear weapons. More infamous is the Yasukuni shrine in Tokyo, established as a shrine for inviting the spirit of the deceased who died for the nation. Its rituals, conducted by the military, uphold those who died for emperor and empire as Gunshin, the god of war. That includes, for the 20th century, those who committed war crimes during the 15 Years' War, 1931 to 45. In 1995, Ikuro Anzai was director of the Kyoto Museum for World Peace. He was invited to oversee the renovation of the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum, including a section on Japanese aggression during the 15-Year War. The Rising Sun Flag Association, Hinumaru-kai, led by a prominent local Shinto priest, opposed this exhibition and filed a lawsuit against the city. Anzai had to testify. The city won the case, but Anzai describes reactionary movements carried out by the revisionists in Japan to deter peace museum workers from displaying the facts of aggression by the Japanese military forces. Sadly, all major religions can be subverted to support nationalism and violence. 20th century immigration from the Indian subcontinent has made Bradford's population ethnically and religiously diverse. 25% are Muslim. Religions and cultures meet and interact. Quaker founders chose Bradford for the UK's Peace Museum precisely because of its diversity and potential for peace building. The museum does not hold any political or religious position. Staff lead the museum according to their own initiative and expertise. The collection contains 8,000 peace artifacts. Inevitably, some have a religious component. Older artifacts include an obelisk made from the wood of the tree under which William Penn, a Quaker, made a treaty with Tamanend, a Native American, in 1682. And an oil painting, the Conchi, shows a 1916-18 conscientious objector under arrest reading his Bible. The collection contains banners from national and local Christian peace campaign groups. The collection also includes an Iranian watercolour showing an angel swinging rose petals of peace onto the earth, a suitcase carried by a Jewish child Kindertransport refugee from the Nazis in 1939, a wall hanging of a prayer from the Upanishads, "Lead me from death to life," and a banner inscribed, "Jews organized for a nuclear arms halt, Jonah." Artifacts also promote peace between people of different religions. Although we have different backgrounds, we are all equal. In recent years, the museum has openly engaged with religious communities and content. A Kindertransport exhibition attracted a wide Jewish audience. That's now part of the museum's education program. Another part of the education program, reaching 8,000 students a year before COVID, is controversially funded by the UK government's anti-terrorism scheme. At a time of post-Brexit contempt for people of diverse culture and religion, students are shown how to recognise and resist right-wing online propaganda aimed at negative religious stereotyping. A 3-year Faith and Peace project, funded by a national Christian peace group, gathered women from different religious backgrounds to make peace art together. These items merged into an exhibition of how the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, have an imperative for peace and reconciliation. The Faith and Peace exhibition has been seen at major cathedrals throughout the UK. A second programme engaged positively with Bradford's Muslim and Hindu communities. An exhibition on peace after partition told the story of the partition of India in 1947 and the crowning of Pakistan. The museum gave people from both sides a safe space to tell their own often painful stories and to celebrate the healing of historic hatred in multicultural Bradford. I conclude then that religions at their best and museums for peace share many values in common. It's not always easy, but museums for peace should have the courage to engage confidently with religious content, religious peacemakers, and the peace imperative of many religions, in helping people of different religious persuasions and none to understand each other better. Museums for Peace can help to build a culture of peace. Thank you.